Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar, which is dedicated to website analytics and more in detail to the most common tool used by SMEs to analyze their website performance, which is Google Analytics 4. As a part of the Euro MO2 project, we conducted a survey and some direct interviews with the SMEs participating in the project. And this revealed that many businesses face difficulties when it comes to data analysis and especially when it comes to website analytics. So if you are finding this matter challenging, you're not alone. The survey we conducted pointed out that 75% of the businesses analyze their customer behavior and profiles, but only 40% use web analytics to do that. So including in the SMEs, the 15% of the SMEs that don't use any analytics tool, it is clear that the potential of the data provided by web analytics is underused and that the tool doesn't seem to receive the attention it deserves. In fact, direct interviews revealed that one of the main reasons for this is that using data requires a knowledge and resources that are not there within the SMEs often. Many SMEs owner or their employees don't know how to use this, where to find the really important information, and what the KPIs really mean. However, understanding this data is crucial for the business digital communication strategy. So if you're one of these people asking yourself if your website is really performing at its top, but you don't know where to start to understand it, don't worry, we asked Nicola Trentin from Jampa, which is one of the service providers included in the Euro Hem2 Digital Hub, to guide you through Google Analytics 4. And in the next 20 minutes, it will cover all the essential, explaining how it works compared to the previous version, if you are a little bit maybe more familiar with that version, and showing us how to use it and how to analyze the data it provides. So it's just 20 minutes, but it will provide you the basics to really understand how this tool works and how it can help you. This webinar, in fact, is part of the Euro MO2 Consortium effort to support business improving their digital performance and more in detail the website performance. With a better understanding of your analytics, in fact, you can understand really if your website is performing as it could, if your digital communication is on the right track, if a specific advertising campaign is effective or not. And this, of course, will help you make a better decision and optimize your investments. We know that working with data can be challenging at first, but just with a bit of information and a couple of guidelines, it can become a very powerful tool for your business. Even if you rely on a service provider, this webinar might help you to understand the basics and so to allow you to work more closely with them, in a way speak partially at least a common language. And this will then allow you and your business to exploit all the potential of the service provider as well, and so to really perform better on your digital channels. So let's listen to Nicola, and we thank Nicola himself and Jampa for their availability and their help in creating this webinar. Thank you, Nicola.
Hello everyone, I'm Nicola Trentin, a UX strategist and data analyst, and today I'll show you how to analyze the most important data for your website or app on Google Analytics 4. Google Analytics 4, or GA4, is the latest version of Google Analytics, developed to address new needs, particularly in tracking user behavior across multiple devices and platforms, as well as responding to the evolution toward a more privacy-conscious web. Unlike the previous version, GA4 is based on a different tracking model. Here we no longer talk about sessions and page views, but about events. This fundamentally changes how we collect and analyze data. In simple terms, an event is every interaction a user has with our site or app, such as a click, a page view, a scroll, and so on. This makes GA4 more flexible and powerful, especially for those seeking advanced analytics. But that's not the only difference. With GA4, we can collect data from both mobile apps and the web in a single property. This is useful for companies that provide user experiences across multiple platforms. Let's start by configuring GA4 for your site or app. There are a few steps to follow, but don't worry, it's fairly straightforward. If you're not comfortable doing it yourself, you can always rely on your service provider or a specialist. To start, log into your Google Analytics account at analytics.google.com. Once inside, go to the admin section at the bottom left, where you'll find the option to create a new property. Here, select Create a GA4 property and follow the platform's prompts. At the end of the process, you'll be able to generate a tracking code, known as a measurement ID, which is essential to track navigation data on your website or app. If you're using Google Tag Manager, highly recommended, you can easily add the GA4 tag there. If you don't use GTM, you can still install the code manually by having it added to the website source code by your developer. As we mentioned in the beginning of this video, GA4 is based on events, which must also be configured. Many events are tracked automatically, such as page views or internal searches. However, if you need custom events, such as clicks on a phone number, or newsletter subscription, or other actions critical to measuring your website, you need to set them up manually, either directly in GA4 or via Tag Manager. This short training won't cover this topic, as it requires a more technical approach, but we'll see how to analyze the data generated. Let's move on to the GA4 interface. I'll show you the main section you'll use to analyze data. On the right of the screen, you'll find a menu with 4 sections: Home, Reports, Explore, and Advertising. The section you'll be most interested in is Reports, which contains all the data collected by GA4 on the user experience on your website or app. The Report section is divided into 3 parts: a quick performance overview that includes real-time data, offering a quick summary on how many users have visited in a set period, which you can adjust in the right corner, as well as a range of metrics on pages viewed and events triggered. Then there is the Lifecycle section. This is further divided into the acquisition, engagement, monetization, and retention panels. We will examine in detail in this video. At the end, there is the User section. This focuses on user demographics, and the devices they use to access the site. Let's start with the lifecycle section and the acquisition panel. The acquisition panel in GA4 focuses on the origin of traffic, highlighting where users come from and the path that led them to the site or app. This panel helps you monitor the effectiveness of campaigns, identifying the highest performing traffic channels, and improve budget allocation based on observed results. The acquisition panel is divided into two main reports: user acquisition and traffic acquisition. The user acquisition panel analyzes the traffic origin for each users, tracking the first point of contact that brought a visitor to the site. It's useful for getting an overview of the sources that attract new users. Different from the user acquisition report, the traffic acquisition panel focuses on sessions, showing how each new visit to the site is influenced by the current traffic source. This report is helpful in observing returning users' behavior and understanding traffic trends. In both the user acquisition and the traffic acquisition panels, users and sessions are divided into predefined traffic channel groups. The main ones include organic search, users who arrive through unpaid search results; direct traffic, visits from users who type the URL directly or who come from an unspecified source; referral traffic, users arriving from other websites; organic socials, users coming from social media platforms. Then there could be paid search and display, users arriving via paid advertising campaigns, such as Google Ads or other ad platforms. Users who don't belong to any of these channels are identified as unassigned. You can then change the view type for traffic sources, switching from a channel group view to, for example, a source and medium view, where traffic sources are more easily understandable. Remember, if you see a source marked as CPC or ADV, here we don't have it, but it could be. It indicates that the traffic is from a paid channel. Next, we see a series of metrics providing key data to understand the quality of navigation on our site or app. In the user acquisition panel, we find total users, the total number of users who visited at least one page of our website; new users, the number of users visiting the site for the first time within the selected period. This is useful to gauge the effectiveness of acquiring new visitors. Returning users, those who return to the site for a second time. Average engagement time per active users, the average active time spent on the website. Engaged sessions per active users, the average number of sessions on the site per user. Note that analytics starts a new session each 30 minutes. So if I enter the site at 2 p.m., browse, and then return at 2:45 p.m., analytics will count me as one user with two sessions. Then we have the event count, the total number of events triggered by all users from the channel. As previously mentioned, any actions a user takes on the website triggers an event. If they enter the site for the first time, they'll trigger a first visit event. If they start a session, they'll trigger a session start event. If they scroll to the bottom of the page, they'll trigger a scroll event, and so on. This data can be less useful for analysis if not filtered by event type. Then we have key events. These are events we have identified as important in the admin panel. Key events are like purchase or a newsletter subscription. In the traffic acquisition panel, we'll find a similar metrics, but related to sessions rather than users. For instance, we see the number of engaged sessions, which differs from the total sessions count, as it only calculates the number of sessions lasting more than 10 seconds, generating a key event, or registering two or more page views or screen views. The ratio of engaged sessions to total sessions give us the engagement rate, which is essentially the opposite of the old bounce rate metric that calculated the number of sessions where no relevant actions were taken. If you run an e-commerce, you can also see the revenue generated by the traffic channel. Once we have the acquisition data for a set period, we can compare it with a different period of our choice. The engagement section provides an overview of user behavior during sessions, especially regarding events triggered, pages viewed, and the pages user entered from. The events section presents data on all events, both automatic and custom, triggered by users. It also includes events we have marked as key events. For each event, we can see how many times it was triggered, how many users trigger it, and how many times, on average, it was triggered during a session. And if it's related to e-commerce, such as a purchase, we can also see the monetary value. The Pages and Screens section show which web pages or app screens are most visited, providing detailed data such as number of views, which counts how many times each page on screen was viewed, average engagement time per user, the average time users spent on a specific page, and all the other events which are defined before. Analyzing these metrics allow us to identify the most popular pages. Access whether information is easily accessible and understand where we can improve the design or content to retain users longer. We can also filter pages, for example by language, by searching for a specific URL segment in the search bar. The third part of the engagement section is the landing page section. Landing pages are the pages users arrived at when they first accessed the site. This subsection is crucial for understanding the effectiveness of key entry points. In the landing page section, we have all the metrics we have already viewed in the page and screen section. The last part we focus on, the lifecycle report, is the monetization. We have a monetization overview which provides a summary of revenue generated by the site or the app. Here we have metrics like the total revenue, the total purchasers, which is the number of the purchasers in a specific period. Also the number of the first-time purchasers, people who purchase for the first time. And other metrics like the average purchase revenue per active users, which is the revenue generated per transactions, useful for monitoring users' spending behavior. This matrix offers a quick understanding of financial performance and the contribution of different revenue sources. We can then dig deeper into purchase items in the e-commerce purchases screen. Here we can also delve into the data on a sold product, adding additional dimensions, such as the nationality of users who purchase it. The last section we see in this video is the user section. The user section in Google Analytics 4 focuses on analyzing the demographic and behavioral characteristics of users visiting the website or the app. This section provides essential information about who the users are, where they come from, and how they interact over time, helping businesses better understand their audiences and tailor marketing strategies. The demographics section focuses on the demographic aspects of users, such as age, displays the most represented age ranges among users, useful for segmenting the audience and tailoring content to specific target groups. Gender, that shows the distribution between male and female users, useful for gaining a better understanding of audience segments. Location shows the geographic origin of users, organized by country, region, and city. These data help identify areas where the audience is concentrated and direct campaigns to specific regions. And then language, that indicates the language set on the user's device, providing valuable insights for potential site or app localization. These data are essential to understand the audience and make informed decisions on how to personalize content and marketing campaigns for each demographic segment. Then we have the tech data. This section focuses on the technological tools users use to access the site. Information includes the browsers, such as Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Edge, used by users, or the device category, which are mobile, desktop, smartphone, helpful to understand how to optimize the user experience based on the most used device. And also the device model. In some cases, GA4 can specify the device model, helpful for targeting content based on the devices most used by users. Technological data are crucial for improving the technical performance of the site or app and ensuring a good user experience across all platforms. We've briefly seen how data is structured in GA4 and how to read it with more awareness. There are many sections we haven't covered, but I hope I've given you the necessary tools to approach your website analytics. Thank you for your attention.